There's nothing like technical difficulties for your last day. So it's very interesting. Well, this is the magic where everyone turns their cameras on. So good morning, good afternoon. And this is officially our last session for the year. So whether you choose to stay with us or don't choose to stay with us, I want to make sure that you actually do the things that you're supposed to do between now and the end of the year. So I want to take this time to really walk you through a few different key concepts when it comes to coaching, your business plan, and everything else. So it's really come to my attention via just talking to a lot of you and getting feedback that sometimes it can feel overwhelming. I'm learning all this new stuff. How do I implement it all? Hit yes if you've ever thought that before when sitting through these sessions. Probably a good amount of us, right? Every day. Okay, so 0 to 1. Let's get started on our mindset around this stuff. The idea of implementing everything is just crazy, right? We all need to look at our plan and align ourselves around what our priorities effectively are. And then when you're going to these sessions, you're coming Monday, Tuesday, you should set a time either Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for an hour, a block to implement what you learned. Now, when you think about implementing what you learned, the way I want you to think through is this. Is what I learned in this week's session in alignment with what I'm actively working on and trying to master? Remember, we talked about getting things through mastery without doing more, right? If it's not in alignment, that's fine too, because there's listening to listen and there's listen to take action. They're two very different things. You're never going to lose by listening to listen, because then when you hear something great that you want to implement, you should have a spreadsheet that says, on 12/5 or 12/13, we learned about A, B, and C, and then you'll put a priority, low, medium, high. And that's an easy way when you have extra time, you're on a plane, you want to do something different, you want to add something to your business, then you go back and look at that list and you start implementing things that way. Versus this idea of just because I said it today, I never told you to go take something and say, okay, guys, go do it now. No, there's so many different people. Everyone has a different business. So we make sure to cover a wide array of topics so that everyone has something to go on to. So if you haven't completed these two things, don't start anything else till this is done. Number one, Kate's data sheet. What are your core four? Like, where are the areas your business are coming from? And more importantly, what are the top 4 areas that equate to your entire GCI? So the next step is then do your KPIs of money. Understand those numbers. Because if you don't understand those numbers, it's very hard to make actual decisions. So in real estate, we talked about this yesterday, I'll say it again. People think the most important piece on a chessboard is the king, because if you have checkmate, the game's over, right? However, the most important piece is actually the queen. It's the most versatile. It could do the most different things. It could create the most opportunities for you in the game. So if you think like an agent, you protect the king and you just look at everything as a cost. If you're a business owner, you protect the queen, which is that monthly number to run your business in your life. And you have to make decisions through that. So once you do the KPIs of money, then you understand what those numbers are. And then we can start correlating how much money am I spending on what, and how does that associate with where my business actually comes from? The reality is most of us just need to go deeper than wider. And you realize that half the things you spend money on are complete nonsense, because we always have this idea that we need to always be doing something new. We need to be doing anything new. The link to the data sheet, Amanda, are in the business plan. So everything you need is linked into that doc. Does anyone have any questions about that? This concept of how do I implement and get the most out of this? See, what we've realized in listening to your feedback, the more prescriptive I can make this for you, the easier it is. Stu's yes. So at the end of our sessions next year, we're going to tell you, this is what I want you to do. And if it's in alignment with your plan, do it. If not, add it to your list. So if everyone, I put the business plan template in there in the chat, Zeus did. So if you want to just open it up and download it, I'll give everyone 1 minute to do that. All right. We all good? Okay. The second challenge is, which one of these courses do I go through? Because people go to all the expert mentor sessions and everything else. Rule number 2 of getting the most out of coaching. Identify, are you going listen to listen? Like if you're a principal agent, we have team building sessions that one of our great coaches, Tommy, does. Well, if you're considering doing a team, you're going to listen to listen. If you show up to anything and you're listening to take action, you need to understand what you do in that 1 hour time block that you have. That's the most important part. And if you're not going to put the time in, remember, have I, can I, will I? Have you put the time in to get the most out of the sessions you attended? No. Can I? Yes. Will I? Yes. Great. Now it has to show up in your schedule. So be very mindful of what you're coming for, because in the end of the day, you all still need mindset training, performance training, and tactical training, right? Like how to think through things, the art of getting things done, performance coaching and getting out of your comfort zone, and the tactical things, like here are all the little steps that we need to actually take action. Does anyone have questions about that? This is pretty simple, isn't it? It's not like rocket science, right? However, things are complicated when we don't know what to do, because guess what? When you get in this industry, the whole way that it's set up actually sucks. It really does. And you know me, I'm not one to like talk bad about anything, but they give you a license, they say, go sell a house. But you guys are business owners. You represent the largest entrepreneurial class in the world. And as a business owner, you have to do things differently. So there's number 2. Number 3, skill building. Who here has identified a skill they need to work on? Kelly Johnson, have you identified a skill? I see you. That's why I like when everyone's camera turns on. I'm really good at like reading people and looking around. I like to point at people. If you need a few areas to build on, number 1, go through your customer experience scorecard. Number 2, remember we're documenting all the challenges that our clients have and everything else. Look at what's going on. Every day, your clients call you for stuff that's an opportunity to build a better sales process. Showing your value to your clients. That's broken down into different areas. That's vague. So your client seeing value in you is a feeling. A feeling is created through interactions and engagement. So does everyone know how to pick a skill? Anyone lost on that? Is this very simple? Please say yes. Putting this in, like if you think about it, look, you need 1 hour a week to implement coaching. You need 30 minutes 4 times a week for skill building. That's 3 hours. You show up here for another 2 hour, another hour. That's 4 hours a week. It's not rocket science. People can spend 4 hours a day clicking the Instagram circle of death and looking at people's stories. Who here feels confident that they can actually take action and do this? If you're unsure, put why you're unsure in the chat, because if one person asks a question, everybody else says. Most of us are thinking it. Discipline. Okay, great. Let's talk about discipline. Who here has an unhealthy relationship with their cell phone? Okay, so when you need to be productive, go put your cell phone somewhere where you can't look at it. Set a ringtone for the people that matter the most in your life and get to work. Remember, I said your why needs to be so powerful that it literally could bring you to tears. And if that why and your motivation isn't strong enough, you'll still stay in the same habits all the time. It won't change. The 4 hours in a week, Carolyn, 1 hour for coaching, the 2 sessions, 1 hour for implementation, that's 2 hours, and then 4 30-minute sessions for skill building. And look, remember, we're documenting where our clients' challenges are, where our fears and concerns. Remember, the whole goal of data or documenting is to be able to make future decisions off of what you saved. Listen, I need you guys all to work like artificial intelligence. The more information you get, the more intuitive you become. Ooh, who here's with Patty and doesn't know their why? Hit yes. So let me ask you a question. Patty, unmute yourself. This will be fun to do live because there will be more people that might not know this than they realize.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, I'm good. So what is the one thing in your life you can't live without?
My family, actually. You're talking about like what makes me move, or something.
I'm going to walk you through this. Your family. Who's your family made up of?
3 children and husband.
And how old are your children?
25, 26, and 27.
Got it. And how do you support your children currently?
Well, it's my husband and I. He's an electrician, and I am in real estate.
Got it. And if you weren't able to make your contribution to the household, what would happen?
We would struggle.
You would struggle. And as a result of struggling, what would happen then?
Here we go. I guess, yeah, that there would be some troubled times, maybe some, we're not so into buying things and going away or anything like that, but just a matter of being able to pay bills. We would probably get a little edgy with each other. I mean, it would have to be a while before it gets to that point, but every day I don't work or I don't, bring money into the home, it gets there faster,
So really your why is to continue living a fulfilled relationship with your husband, your kids, so that you don't let something like financial constraint destroy the most important relationships in your life.
Yeah, I don't need to have a lot of money. I just need to be able to sustain ourselves, right? I need to be comfortable. We need to be happy and not worry. I guess the biggest thing for me is not to worry about it. I don't need a lot of money, but I don't want to need it, or I don't want to not have it. Yeah, so I mean, I'm really working from my heart, really, but it's very, very important because I live in the Northeast, and you can't survive here if you don't have a solid income. And even with children at the ages of 25, 26, 27, I mean, they're getting married now. I'm still paying off their college, so it could be struggle, if I don't do what I have to do. So this is really important to us maintaining that,
So there you go. You do have your why.
I just know that when I talk to other people sometimes, because I like to be on the other side of the question, and you really got to dig down. You have to ask the right questions to get to that point where you're almost at tears and you want to.
Well, I'll
really
tell you
know
this,
why.
there's an exercise in doing this called problem proliferation, right? It's called the problem of problems. So if I don't do my job every day, I'm not going to have the right amount of money. If I don't have the right amount of money, then I could have challenge in some time paying my bills. If I don't have a challenge paying towards my bill, it could affect my marriage. And if it affects my marriage and I have weddings and stuff coming up, I can't fulfill my obligation to my kids. If I can't fulfill the obligation to my kids, I might not be able to pay my household bills, and I have a troubling relationship with my husband, which has always been great, then I'm not going to feel great. And if I don't feel great, do you see how all these things compound on each other?
Yeah.
And if you look at that and you write that down and you read that thing and you're like, holy shit, by not doing these small things every day, I could have all of
Right.
these bad things happen to me, and you're going to take action. And there's your why.
Mhm. Thank you.
You're welcome. I literally went through this this past weekend in the retreat I was in. It's hard, you know, and in digging down, you don't ever want to imagine yourself in a place like that where you don't want to be. And people that don't think about it are naive. People are like, oh, things can always be better. I'm like, yeah, but they can always be worse too. You just don't ever think about it. But you should put it down on paper. You should think about it if you have a hard time figuring it out. And that's your why. What are you afraid to lose the most? People have young kids under 10. You know what you're most afraid to lose? Time. You don't want to lose time. Hit yes if you have kids under 10. How many of us are there? A few. Oh, here they come. How many people have felt like they've missed out on friendships, relationships, and things that are important to them by not being present? Look, in the end, all of these things are a byproduct of having bad work habits and bad discipline and being confused. You know, there is a study that was done by a nurse who worked with elderly patients. It's called like Regrets to the Dying. And when we all leave this earth, we have our memories. That's really what we're leaving with, right? And a great author, inspirational leader, Brendan Bouchard, you know, he shares this story of like, you know, he had this high school sweetheart that he thought was gonna get married. They go away to this island. You know, he's on a curvy road with a friend driving on a car, and the car like flips. And he's sitting there in the like middle of nowhere. There's no phones or anything. He's like bleeding, and he didn't know if he was going to die. And he's like, in that moment, I asked myself 3 questions. Did I live? Did I love? And did I matter? And ask yourself that. Are you truly living? Are you truly loving? And do you feel like you matter? Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? And why would you ever want to sacrifice living, loving, and mattering? Because you can't not answer your cell phone, or you don't give your clients all the information up front, or you don't want to look at your business numbers. You don't want to know where your business comes from. You don't want to improve your skills. And improving your skills, by the way, is the best way to create a better customer experience. Why? See, the idea that pain has to ascend the discomfort of the action you don't want to take. That's why Mel Robbins' 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule is so powerful, because your brain will try to talk you out of anything you want to do in the first 5 seconds. But you need to own that thought process. Because look, I think all of us can attest to this. The older you get, the more things get taken away from you. And I don't have to say this twice to anyone here. How much would you pay or do to have time back with somebody that you can't have the time anymore? You know, we all take things for granted. Like, look, candidly speaking, I never in my life thought there'd ever be a world where I'd wake up in a home I wouldn't see my kids every day. Never. And so, like, you know, as I was thinking about this, I said, wow, now the time I have with my kids gets cut in half. Well, I also know the scary statistic that by the time your kids turn 18 years old, 90% of the time you'll ever see them in their lives again are gone. Because, you know, when you're home, you see them every day, the hours and everything else. And then my son's 9 years old. So I cut that 90% down to 45. I have him half the time. It's 22.5%. That's all I have left of his entire life. And in these moments, you realize you would do anything to go back in time and have these moments back. Think about how many times you take a work call, or you're like, give me a second, or you're busy on the computer, or you step away from dinner, step away from an event. That's not what life is meant to be all about. And we all do this, whether it's our kids or spouses or families or friends. Being married or being birthed by a real estate agent has a whole set of different traumas and relationships of their own. But it's our inability to do these simple things that are given to you. And this is on a core level. I've been encouraged to share this more and be vulnerable because I'm hoping it helps somebody else. One person wrote me a thing and said, I'm going to spend more time with my kids because of this, but it's all worth it. Because it's about living life limitlessly and removing all these self-imposed barriers that we put on ourselves. We all put ourselves in a golden prison, and it all starts with our mind. We feel that we have to do these things. We need to do these things. We're doing them. My favorite lie that we all tell ourselves is, we're all doing this for our families. Really? You know how kids spell love and other people do? Attention. That's how they spell love. So when you're looking at your why and you're thinking about this and you have to look at yourself in the mirror, did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? Did you really live a present and fulfilling life? Did you truly love the people in your life enough to take the hard actions every day so you could have a great time with them? And do you feel you're significant and matter in your life and the life of others? It's heavy, but it's the truth. This is what this is all about to us, to me. It's helping people. Great. I could give you a million different things to grow your business. I could show you how many people I've made millionaires in my life, but it's great. But in the end, personally, if they don't have a better life, then what'd you do it for? I will not work with somebody that just wants to make more money. Do you have kids? Yes. What do you want to do? I want to make more money. Then go somewhere else. So I hope that I've inspired all of you to think a little bit differently, that you all approach the holidays with a little more thoughtfulness and intention. And imagine this. Imagine you changed your mindset, right? And you realize that each day is a unique opportunity to build new memories. That every moment that you're truly present was a special moment that will never happen again. And in every interaction and everything you do, your whole day was based on building great memories with people. Do you think that would change what you did a little bit every day? It's like one of the cool things that an idea I had that we're actually going to make for all of you is I really would like to build a memory journal, right? It's this crazy idea I had as I was going through self-reflection. I'm like, oh, that's something I want to do with my kids every day. Imagine at the end of every day, you sat down and there's a quadrant, right? There's the memories you built for yourself, things I did for me, memories you built at work, things you did for your clients that are fulfilling, memories you spent with your kids, and memories you spent with your spouse. And you could alter the quadrant any way you want. But at the end of the day, Sasha, imagine how great was it with your kids? Hey, what memories did we build today? What's more important to you? And at the end of every week, you looked at this journal like, wow, look at all the stuff we did. At the end of every month, at the end of every year, and you have books and books and books of this stuff. Because see, what happens is the way that your brains work is if you have to fill this thing out, you'll look to start creating memories because you won't want it to be empty. And that's what I think at the core this all comes down to. Will I do my business in a smart, effective, and efficient way that I could focus on building memories and get the beauty out of life while earning all the money I want and taking all the vacations I want? Ben Moss, who's a dear friend and the director of sports and entertainment here, we built his team where he goes to Stowe, Vermont from June to October. He's not there for four months. 4 months. And he has all like high-end celebrity athlete clients and uber affluent people. If he can do it, you can do it. You got to believe. The magic is in believing. So in the last minute we have here, I just ultimately just want to say thank you. You know, I can never thank you all enough because this is what the heart of our company is. You guys have showed up. You guys have turned your camera on. You've sat through all my craziness and pushing you out of your comfort zone. I know some people have cried on these calls. Some people have been vulnerable on these calls. Some people have been open on these calls. And there's no day that goes in my life that I'm not thankful for all of you. You guys provide the greatest gift to everyone else. It's hope. It's opportunity. It's community. It's love. It's caring. It's compassion. It's all the things that we look for in life. So when you look in the mirror, just realize that you're awesome just the way you are. Your job every day is to share your awesomeness with the world and go live a fulfilling life that's limitless. And look at every opportunity as a unique moment that you could do something special for yourself, for someone else that will live on forever. Because if you think about it, when you get to people, hey, remember that time we did this, right? Like those are memories. People cherish those for a lifetime. So if you have 2 jobs in a day, it's to go build and share your awesomeness with as much people as possible. So as always, love in my heart, I love you all. Thank you so much for being part of this community, being our heartbeat, and how much you all give every single day to make your lives better and the lives of others better. So we'll see you all hopefully next year. Deborah is calling people to see if they're going to renew or if they have feedback to send us. So you'll hear from us at some point. And look, make sure you get this done before Christmas. And Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, if you're not working, get rid of your phone. Go try living a day without your phone. You're gonna be like, holy shit, I got so much done. What time is it? 2 o'clock. And what you don't realize is when 6, 7 hours of a day goes on a freaking electronic device, you're not living life. So I'll leave you on that note. Bye, everybody. Love you all.